Thank you guys for watching the Animal One Guy YouTube videos. If you like this video, please leave a like and even comment below. And if you like all my content, please hit the subscribe button. And why not click the bell icon for notifications too? That way you can see all my videos. Give me the ball. I've been waiting for this to happen. I've noticed that Sweet Tooth has not gone to the bathroom in a little while. And then I saw this, but I knew that that cannot be enough. It cannot be. We take the lock off. We come in here. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a giant piece of urate. And you know what sucks? And everyone is going to get mad at me. I got to move this dirt out of the way. I now have this. I have to come in here and pick this thing up with my hand. And it's going to be so gross. And they already yell at me that I don't wear gloves when I do things. And it's just going to be... Just kidding. Here's a glove. Let's take this urate out. I'm going to rinse it off. And then we're going to talk about it. Look at this. Look at this big, giant mass. So... Solid. Rock solid. What is urate? Let's start there, and then we're going to talk about this specific urate, everyone. I rinsed it off lightly. There's still a little bit of dirt on it. So the dirt is not coming from inside Sweet Tooth. It's from the dirt in the enclosure. So what is urate, though? It's pretty simple, guys. It's reptile pee. Although amphibians get it too, turtles, tortoises, it's over the spectrum. But let's go over this particular is from Argentine black and white Tegu, Sweet Tooth, so a lizard. So with human, our urine, right, it's more liquid. Although sometimes people do get kidney stones, right, which is just like a calcium buildup. So with reptiles, they sometimes pee as a liquid water form as well. Although most of the time, your reptile will excrete urate. And it is basically your uric acid, your calcium, all the excess in a solid form, right? A giant kidney stone. Except it's normal for them, where it would be abnormal for us. And sometimes it's healthy, guys. So, I'm going to talk about the Tegu, but normal liquid pee is healthy in reptiles as well. And urates are healthy as well. Although there are things to look for in urates that could mean your reptile has a problem. And you have to distinguish some of them. I'm going to talk about what's here, and then what's after I talk about what's not here. So the big thing is, when you have a urate, no matter the size, you normally want to make sure that every time your reptile goes number 2, so every time your reptile poops, that there should be urate with that. So that's the number one thing you want to look for. Although sometimes, again, you got to know your reptile. Sometimes it'll have liquid pee, but sometimes you can still identify when that happens with the poo. It is okay for your reptile to do urate on its own without poo. That can be quite common as well, because sometimes it takes them longer to digest the food, and they're drinking a lot, and they're going to get urate out. Now, what you want to look for on urates, first of all, it should be healthy. It should be white. That is the big thing. Now, urates will have color to them that normally mean there's a problem. If there's some brown on the urate, it just probably means that there's some poo and it was touching the poo. So that's okay. That's fine. That's healthy. If it's red or like a dark orange, so that's blood, that's normally not a great sign. And you really want to monitor that, and you might need to bring them to a vet, especially if there's a lot of blood that could have been caused by a blockage, things like that. Sometimes, too, if the urate's so big and it takes so long to get out, there could be ripping, there could be tearing, and that's what could cause blood in the urate. The other thing you want to look for is if the urate is yellow. And this urate has a lot of yellow on it, and you guys can really see it right here, which is unfortunate. And what does that mean, especially if I turn it over? So this yellowing like this is normally accompanied with really large urates. And that's normally a sign that your reptile was constipated and that you had a urate blockage. Okay? So there's a couple ways that your reptile can become blocked. Because let's remember that reptiles, one hole comes out the pee and the poo, right? So sometimes their stool can get solid and cause a backup, or sometimes their urate can. Yellow on the urate is normally a sign that the urate formed a urate plug and everything was getting backed up. What causes that? Well, two things can cause it. Diet and dehydration. That's normally what's going to cause your urate backup. And it's kind of rough when you have a environment you think is set up perfect, but it still happens, right? So if we look at Sweet Tooth's environment, giant, 2 foot by 2 foot watering bowl, always has water in the tub so it can soak or drink. Probably not dehydration. And I know that she goes in it, so she's probably drinking. Okay, so then diet. What normally causes this buildup? Well, you can do too much calcium or too much protein. Now, isn't that a stinker? If your reptile is a meat eater, your meat is going to have protein, and therefore you could get too much protein. So yes, you can, which is why then it's really good to variety your diet up, right? So this, I'm going to tell you why this happened. Feeding her too many rats and mice caused this. And I've ordered, chicks and things like this, and I have been feeding beef now, but I knew that there was a problem because I hadn't seen Sweet Tooth go to the bathroom in a while after having large meals. And I knew there was water, so I knew there was a urate plug, and I've changed up the diet a little bit. You saw me feed steak, or I don't know if you even saw it, but I fed steak, and then I've been feeding, a couple bugs, a couple of different types of bug, hornworms, dubias, etc. But I needed to variety up the rats to change up the amount of protein to carb to fat ratio, and then that got everything moving. The other thing is you want to make sure I took her out and I put her in a soak tub. So I saw she drank a lot of water, just a nice warm soak, so gets everything moving. And then normally they'll also suck in a lot of water to hydrate themselves because this really dries them out. And they need that water. They need that water to push this sucker out. And that's exactly what happened. So those are things to look for. So if you've been feeding your, lizard, frog, whatever, the same diet and you don't see urates or stool, more than likely it's a urate plug. This one we know was a urate plug again because why, guys? It's yellow. So we know that this was caused as a plug. I know it wasn't caused to dehydration because of the constant access to water, and I also know the things she was eating, whole prey, there's a lot of moisture in whole prey. So a little bit of a protein overload. We've varied up the diet, so we're going to take care of that. And guys, how thankful are you that I wore gloves for this? Let's look at this urate now, since we're at the end of the video, and I kind of went over it and how to fix urate and some other problems of urate to look for. This is, again, hard. All right, let me... we can get it to start to break up, but it's really going to break into pieces, and we can get that kind of yellow blockage mucus off of it. But yeah, urate is I don't know, I'm always a little bit fascinated by it, guys, because it's just like, God, they gotta force this thing out, and it's a solid mass. Like they're, you know, like it's like a piece of chalk, right? Like think of a huge piece of sidewalk chalk, whereas like their poo is still squishy. This is rock hard, right? It's a giant kidney stone, except that's normal for them. So if you smash it up, it just kind of turns to like sandish pebble. Yeah, gross. Okay, guys, that's it for this video. I hope I could help you guys out by showing you this. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you guys for commenting so much, and thank you for liking my videos, guys. The number one thing you can do is like and comment. That helps me grow. Take care, everyone. And then this is just proof, guys. I wanted to show you about an hour and a half after the that big old urate plug was removed. Massive sweet tooth just finally just pounded everything out of herself. So that's good. Good, little healthy. She's going to be eating chicken for a little while here, but you can expect to find this. Alright, that's it.
Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.